There is a very real chance that AJ Dybantsa becomes the future face of the NBA. He has franchise player written all over him, and at 6'9", he is an explosive, fluid athlete that looks like he was built in a lab to be the apex predator big wing that every team wants to build around. His talent allows him to score in a variety of extremely difficult ways, and with his size, athleticism, ahead of his time scoring polish, and dog mentality, he'll be a lock in the 2026 draft's top 3 and might even be the favorite to go first overall. I'm Will Gottlieb, All City Network's NBA draft expert, and this is our 5-minute or less NBA draft profile series, presented by Calcio. Dybansta already looks like a 10-year NBA vet with some of his moves and counters. He averaged 25.5 points per game on an incredibly efficient 60% true shooting and 55 effective field goal percentage. He had 2 40-point games and 7 games with 35 points or more, which tied Steph Curry, JJ Redick, Chris Clemens, and Antoine Davis for the 4th most ever in a college season. He's an incredibly physical and relentless driver, attacking the basket, collapsing defenses, and drawing fouls. He shot 72.3% on close twos and had 43 dunks on the season. He's great as a grab-and-go rebounder and can push the ball in transition, which should fit perfectly in the up-tempo pace of the current NBA game. His most special skill at this point is his ability to score in the mid-range. He made 46.3% of long twos, taking and making some incredibly difficult jump shots, operating with pump fakes, using his strength to bump off defenders and step-throughs to get all the way to the rim, or elevating right over the top of contests. While the NBA has moved away from the mid-range for the most part, players who are able to draw fouls in that area remain efficient scorers, and Dybansta has that ability. He draws a ton of fouls going to the rim and backing guys down in the mid-post. He averaged 8.5 free throw attempts per game and led the nation with 229 total free throw attempts. Three-point shooting is something Dybansta will need to make a more consistent part of his game. The outlines are certainly there, but he only shot 33.1% on 4.2 threes per game at BYU, with just under a quarter of his total shots coming from beyond the arc. Overall, Dybansta is a rare combination of size, fluidity, athleticism, and explosiveness. His most recent measurements were 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan, and that physical profile gives him a huge leg up when it comes to finding a role in the NBA. Now let's get into some of the areas of his game where I still have some big questions. Dybansta takes some incredibly difficult shots, particularly in the mid-range, trying to do a little bit too much or force a tough look to try to get himself going. The floor spacing at BYU was not great, oftentimes having 2 bigs clogging up the paint, which forced Dybansta into some ill-advised shots over multiple defenders. At the NBA level, the paint should be much more wide open for him to be able to get to the rim instead of being forced into those contested looks. That oftentimes reared its head with bad pass turnovers or getting stripped trying to get into his shot. Those are especially damaging if it leads to runouts and transition opportunities for his opponents, and for someone like Dybansta to become a true A1 star, he really will need to develop that side of his playmaking. He does have a good handle, but improving there will go a long way towards reducing turnovers and helping him get to his spots more easily. At 3.7 assists per game, he has shown real flashes as a passer, but he is a score-first player, and that sometimes gets him into tough situations. I do think there's real upside there. He's willing and capable when it comes to passing, but an understanding of what reads he needs to make will go a long way at the next level. He has the tools to be an effective perimeter defender, but a steal rate of 1.7 and a block rate of 1.1 are shockingly low for someone with his physical profile. He struggles fighting over and through screens, which is understandable for someone who basically led the nation in usage rate, but he will need to clean that up in the NBA. Now let's get into some player comparisons. Big scoring wings like Tracy McGrady, Paul George, and DeMar DeRozan seem like the high-end outcome. That feels like a real possibility. My statistical comparison tool, which takes into account his box score production per 75 possessions as well as his rate stats, efficiency, compare him most closely to players like RJ Barrett, CJ McCollum, Alec Burks, Damian Lillard, and Klay Thompson during their final year of college. With the Wizards getting the first pick in the draft, Dybansta seems like the perfect fit. Spending the last few seasons tanking for a player just like him, he would complete their core and immediately be the franchise savior they've been looking for, with some really nice pieces in Alex R, Trey Johnson, and Keyshawn George complementing him well. Utah is already so big and tall across the front court, but it would be tough to turn down Dybansta if he does make it to 2. Imagine the challenge another coach would have to face trying to match up with him, Ace Bailey, Lauri Markkanen, and Jaren Jackson together. Ironically, someone like Dybansta would have been perfect next to Ja, Bane, and Jaren, but he's also a fantastic centerpiece with some ready-made long-term help around him in Cedric Coward and Zach Edey. I doubt he makes it to the Bulls, but if he does, he immediately becomes the foundational piece they desperately need. Would you take AJ with the #1 pick? Right now, Dybansta is trading at 80% to go #1, and you can buy in or out of your position at any time. Sign up using promo code ALLNBA to get $10 when you trade 10. Let us know down in the comments, and tune in for the next NBA Draft Profile series.